Disclaimer: this content is only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. It started like any other ordinary evening. The kind where you're half listening to your favorite playlist, scrolling aimlessly, and thinking maybe, just maybe, you'll respond to that one unread message. She did. Her name was Maya, a 26-year-old graphic designer living in Chicago, someone who was strong, smart, and tired of dating games. The message was from Ryan, someone she hadn't seen in years, not since college. Back then, they shared a class, a few jokes, and a harmless flirtation that never really went anywhere. So when he said, "Let's catch up, I just want to talk," she figured, why not? They agreed to meet at a small coffee spot downtown. Nothing fancy. Just two old acquaintances reconnecting. Or so she thought. Ryan showed up with that same smile, familiar but more confident now. They talked. About work. Life. Regrets. Things unspoken in the past. Maya felt oddly comfortable, like slipping into a sweater you haven't worn in years but still fits just right. But something was off. Not in the way he spoke, but in the way his hand brushed against hers a little too long when reaching for his cup. In the way he leaned in, eyes watching her lips more than hearing her words. She told herself it was nothing. That maybe he was just being friendly. Until they walked outside. Until he suggested they take a walk instead of heading their separate ways. She agreed, curious, maybe even excited. The streetlights cast a soft glow as they strolled through the park, voices lowering as the air around them quieted. He stopped by a bench, turned to her and said again, "I just wanted to talk." But his hand gently moved to her lower back, lingering there just a bit too long. Her body tensed, not in fear, but in sudden uncertainty. Her mind raced, was this what he meant by just talk? Or was he testing something more? Maya wasn't naive. She had been through enough to know when signals stop matching words. She pulled back slightly, meeting his gaze. There was a flicker of something in his eyes, hesitation, maybe guilt. But also desire. The kind that complicates friendships and rewrites memories. She didn't say anything. Not yet. Because sometimes, stories don't start with love or heartbreak, but with a quiet moment where two people stand in the in-between, unsure of what comes next. And that's where we leave Maya and Ryan for now. But here's the question, have you ever found yourself in a moment where someone's words said one thing, but their actions whispered something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Ryan's intentions were harmless? Or was Maya right to feel a shift in the air? Should she give him a chance, or walk away before things get too real? Let us know below, and don't forget to vote in the poll. Maya didn't move right away. She stood still, eyes locked on Ryan's face, searching for the guy she remembered. Back then, he was quieter, almost awkward. Now, he carried himself like a man who had learned how to say what people wanted to hear, but maybe not what they needed to. The silence between them stretched out, not heavy, but loaded. Ryan dropped his hands slowly, as if realizing too late that he might have crossed a line. "I didn't mean to make things weird," he said, voice lower now. "It's just been a while." Maya gave a small nod, still unsure whether to respond or just walk away. Her thoughts spun in different directions. Was he trying to rekindle something? Was it just nostalgia playing tricks on both of them? She remembered how he used to glance at her in class, how they'd exchange little jokes, moments that felt harmless then. But now, under a sky full of unspoken intentions, everything felt more complicated. They sat down on the bench, a few inches apart. Close, but not touching. Ryan started talking about his job in marketing, how he'd recently moved back to the city after spending a year in Seattle. Maya listened, half distracted, trying to decide whether this was just a friendly catch-up, or something else wrapped in polite words. Then he asked about her work, her dating life. The question slipped out casually, but she caught the weight behind it. Maya hesitated before answering. She'd been single for a while now, by choice mostly. Relationships had become more noise than comfort, and she wasn't looking for anything messy. Still, she found herself saying more than she meant to, watching his eyes follow her lips like they were holding a secret he wanted to learn. The more he spoke, the more it became clear Ryan wasn't here just to talk. But he wasn't exactly making a move either. That in-between space hung in the air, thick with questions neither of them dared ask directly. Why now? Why her? Maya glanced down at his hands, calm, steady, but not still. And she wondered, was this just curiosity? Or did he have something else in mind all along? That's when her phone buzzed. A message from her roommate, "You good? Haven't heard from you." She stared at the screen, thumb hovering, mind racing. And just like that, the moment shifted again, still quiet, still polite, but full of questions waiting to be answered. Maya didn't respond to the message right away. She just stared at the screen, feeling the weight of it. Not because of what it said, but because of what it reminded her, she wasn't alone in this moment. Someone else was expecting her, someone who knew her rhythm, someone who would notice if something felt off. And right now, everything felt off. Ryan shifted slightly beside her, elbows resting on his knees, hands clasped like he was holding back a different version of himself. He glanced at her phone, then at her face, and asked, "You need to go?" She looked up, caught off guard by the question. "No," she said. "I mean, not yet." A part of her wanted to stand up, to leave while things were still in a gray area. But another part, curious, conflicted, wanted to understand what this really was. She didn't believe in second chances easily. But she believed in reading people. And Ryan was giving mixed signals. His words were careful, measured. But his body language, the closeness, the looks, the way he leaned just slightly into her space, told a different story. They sat in silence again. But it wasn't comfortable. It was full of everything unsaid. Finally, Ryan spoke. "I've thought about you," he said, not looking at her. "Not just tonight. Before. A lot." Maya didn't know how to react to that. Was it meant to be sweet? Or manipulative? Or just honest? She turned to him slowly. "Why now?" she asked. "You had years. What's changed?" He hesitated, then laughed, almost bitterly. "I think I messed up a lot of things, and now I'm trying to figure out if I can fix anything." That didn't feel like an answer. And it definitely didn't feel like the full truth. What Maya didn't know yet was that Ryan hadn't just come back to reconnect. He had recently ended something messy, confusing, unfinished. His last relationship left behind more than just emotional damage. It left unanswered questions, and maybe even lingering ties. And Maya, unknowingly, was stepping into the middle of that storm. Back in her apartment, Maya's roommate, Zoe, was already suspicious. She had seen Maya get ready tonight, casual, but thoughtful. The kind of look you give effort to when you're not sure what the night might bring. Zoe had a bad feeling from the beginning. She knew Maya's history with overthinkers and charmers, and Ryan sounded like both. Meanwhile, as Ryan and Maya kept talking, pausing, backtracking, almost challenging each other with their restraint, Maya felt like they were circling something neither of them was brave enough to name. Was this attraction? Loneliness? A test? Or was Ryan hiding something deeper, something that had nothing to do with catching up? Maya crossed her arms, both to warm herself and to create space. "I don't want to be anyone's escape," she said. "If you're here because you're bored or lonely, just say it." Ryan looked at her then, straight on. "It's not like that," he said. But his voice wasn't steady. And that's where things start to unravel. Viewers, what do you think? Is Ryan being genuine, or is there a hidden agenda? Could Maya be walking into something she doesn't fully understand? Drop your theories in the comments and let us know what you would do in her place. The wind had picked up, brushing Maya's hair across her face as she stared at Ryan, trying to make sense of the way he looked at her. He wasn't saying much anymore, just watching her like he was waiting for something. Maybe waiting for her to say it was okay. Or maybe waiting for her to walk away. But Maya wasn't the type to leave without answers. Something about this whole night didn't sit right with her. His sudden return. The vague conversation. The way he kept pulling her in, emotionally, only to back off the second she got close to the truth. She finally spoke. You said you messed up a lot. What did you mean by that? Ryan looked down at his hands for a long moment, then back at her. It's complicated. That's not an answer, Maya said. Her voice was calm, but there was steel behind it now. He exhaled, leaning back against the bench, eyes flickering toward the street. There was someone, he said. A serious relationship. It ended badly. Maya tilted her head, watching him carefully. Badly how? He hesitated. Let's just say I wasn't the guy I should have been. I got used to taking people for granted. And when she finally left, I realized how much I'd lost. But by then, it was too late. Maya waited, but he didn't say more. Not about who the woman was. Not about what he had done. Just enough to sound remorseful, without really opening up. You're still in contact with her, she asked, not even sure why it mattered so much. Ryan looked away. Not really. It's complicated, he repeated. Maya nodded slowly, her jaw tightening. That phrase again. Every time things got close to clarity, he retreated behind it. And then, almost like it had been waiting in the shadows, the question hit her. Was she a rebound? Was she just someone he remembered from an easier time, now convenient to revisit while he cleaned up the wreckage of his past? She hated how quickly that thought stung. But it did. You didn't just call me tonight out of nowhere, Maya said. You knew what you were doing. I missed you, Ryan said softly. No, she replied. You missed who you thought I used to be. You're not here for me. You're here for some version of me you built in your head. He looked hurt, but didn't argue. And that silence said more than words. As they sat there, both of them facing forward but lost in different thoughts, Maya's phone buzzed again. This time, a call. Zoe. Probably worried. Probably already imagining a worst-case scenario. She didn't answer. Not yet. Because in that moment, Maya realized she was standing on the edge of something. Either she walked away now and left the past behind for good, or she stayed, and stepped deeper into something she might regret. But what if she was wrong? What if Ryan really had changed? What if this wasn't a game, but a second chance? Or, what if the real story hadn't even started yet? Let us know in the comments, should Maya take the risk and hear Ryan out, or is her gut telling her something she needs to trust? What do you think Ryan isn't telling her? Your predictions might just hit the mark in the next part. Maya finally declined the call. Not because she didn't want to talk to Zoe, but because she didn't want to say out loud that she didn't know what she was doing. She slipped the phone into her jacket pocket, then turned slightly toward Ryan, studying his face like it might finally give her the truth he hadn't said yet. He shifted again, clearly uncomfortable, like he was weighing whether to stay or leave. The silence between them stretched, but this time, Maya didn't fill it. She let it sit. Let it push him. Then Ryan broke it. There's something else, he said, voice low. Something I didn't tell you. Maya's heart picked up speed. Her body stiffened without meaning to. She didn't say anything, just nodded once for him to go on. She didn't just leave, he said, eyes fixed on the ground. She left because I lied to her. About something big. Something I thought I could hide. Maya narrowed her eyes. What kind of lie? Ryan finally looked up, and there was a flicker of fear in his eyes. I told her I wasn't seeing anyone else. But the truth is, there was overlap. Not physically, but emotionally. I was messaging someone else. I told myself it was harmless. I never met up with her, but the messages got intense. Maya stared at him, mind racing. Wait, someone else like who? You're not saying. Ryan didn't respond right away. But that silence said enough. You were talking to me, she said, realizing it in real time. That random message you sent 6 months ago. Hey, just thinking about you. That was during your relationship. He nodded slowly. Yeah. Maya's stomach turned. She remembered that message clearly. She hadn't responded back then because something about it felt sudden, maybe even selfish. And now, it made sense. She had unknowingly been part of someone else's breakdown. That's not harmless, she said, her voice sharp now. You were checking out emotionally before it even ended. And you used me to do it. I didn't mean to, Ryan said quickly. I don't know. I guess I missed how simple things used to feel with you. I wasn't trying to use you. But you did, Maya replied, standing now. Her pulse was in her throat. Ryan stood too, trying to close the space between them. I didn't come here tonight with bad intentions. I didn't want to lie anymore. But the damage was done. Maya didn't know what was worse, that she had been unknowingly part of someone else's betrayal, or that Ryan had waited until now, this late, to admit it. She backed up a step. You don't get to rewrite history, Ryan. Not with me. The air between them felt colder now, heavier. Viewers, what would you do in Maya's place? Is emotional cheating just as serious as the physical kind? Can someone change if they keep hiding the truth? Or is Maya right to walk away before it gets worse? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're not done yet, and the next part might change everything. Maya stood still, eyes locked on Ryan, her chest rising and falling with every deep breath she took to hold back everything she wanted to say but knew wouldn't fix anything. The night around them felt still, like even the wind was waiting to see what she'd do. Ryan's hand was half raised between them, like he wanted to reach for her, but even he knew better than to close that space now. I came here to be honest, he said again, voice shaky now, like he was realizing too late how much this moment mattered. Maya didn't respond right away. Her thoughts were racing, through every message he had sent, through how she'd second-guessed herself for feeling a shift tonight, and how her gut had tried to warn her. She realized now that this wasn't just about one message or one mistake. It was about patterns. Patterns he never broke because he never really faced the cost of them. You want to be honest? Maya finally said, voice steady but cold. Then admit it. You didn't come here for closure. You came here hoping I'd still say yes. Ryan opened his mouth to argue, but then shut it again. That silence was the real answer. She turned to walk away. But just as she took her first step, Ryan's voice cut through the cold air. She messaged you, didn't she? Maya stopped in her tracks, confused. What are you talking about? He looked pale now. My ex. I think she reached out to you. Or she's about to. Maya frowned. Why would she? Ryan hesitated, then said, because she found our old messages. All of them. She said if I didn't tell you everything myself, she would. Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out. Unknown number. New message. You don't know the full story. I think you deserve to. Her stomach dropped. Ryan saw the look on her face and took a step closer, desperation finally showing. I didn't want you to hear it from her. I wanted to be the one to explain. But it was too late for that. Because now Maya realized something. She had been a chapter in a story she didn't even know she was part of. A pawn in someone else's war. And suddenly, it wasn't just about trust, it was about being pulled into a past that had nothing to do with her, yet somehow left her carrying the weight. She took one last look at Ryan. Whatever's coming next, you deal with it. Alone. And with that, she walked away. This time, not out of anger, but because she knew she finally could. But just as she reached the sidewalk, her phone buzzed again. Another message. You weren't the only one he was messaging. The screen went dark in her hand. And just like that, the story flipped again. Viewers, what do you think? Was Ryan ever telling the full truth? Or has Maya just scratched the surface of something even more complicated? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've ever been caught in someone else's unfinished mess, share your story below. Your voice might help someone else spot the signs before it's too late. Maya stood under the streetlight for a long moment, reading that last message over and over. The truth had unraveled slowly tonight, but now it had all come undone. And as painful as it was, there was also something freeing about finally seeing things clearly. Ryan wasn't just someone with a messy past. He was someone still tangled in it. Someone who had made a pattern out of half-truths and emotional safety nets. She had been one of them. She didn't respond to the message. She didn't need to. For once, silence said everything she wanted to say. She slipped her phone back into her pocket and kept walking, her steps steady, this time without looking back. She wasn't carrying anyone else's weight anymore. Later that night, Maya sat alone in her apartment, a cup of tea in her hand, soft music playing in the background. Zoe had called, and they talked. Really talked. Maya told her everything, and for the first time, it didn't feel like a story happening to her. It felt like something she had survived. Ryan never messaged again. And Maya didn't expect him to. Some endings don't come with closure. But that's okay. Because the most important closure is the kind you give yourself. Viewers, how did you feel about how this ended? Should Maya have given Ryan another chance, or did she make the right call by walking away? Would you want to see where her story goes next? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about it together.